Hi guys. So, I just feel like I wanted to go through my my mental process and my intellectual process with you about a research question, so you can kind of see what it's like. So, bear with me. I'll try to make it as fast as possible. I'm also going to take pictures so you can look at them online. Well, hello. So I'm sitting here watching this before uploading it, and I'm like, oh, I never really did talk about what my topic is and what my thesis is, or my working thesis, at the beginning, and I just started diving right into what my research was, and I realized that not clear. So I am going to put the two images at the beginning as well as later. The first image being my working thesis, which is on green paper, and it has basically to do with when printing came to England and what kind of an effect that had on England's dominance of the world. Um, Middle Ages, Renaissance time period, Victorian time period. Even though this paper itself only has to do with Anglo-Saxon to medieval, that was the beginning of kind of a turnaround for England. So that's how come I feel like it's legit. And then the other thing is I'm going to put the picture of all of my questions, because then I take kind of one of those lines and go into major depth in the rest of this movie. Just thought you'd appreciate the clarification. This is my fire in the belly question. It says, so when did Oxford start and when did print start affecting instruction? And you can see I have a whole bunch of notes around it. But that's the fire in the belly question. And then in just a second, we'll click over to all of my notes, and those are kind of kooky. And then here's my thesis. England's rapid growth in technological and militaristic might was bolstered by the introduction of Gutenberg's printing press. What is my fire in the belly? And oh, big surprise, I said education, writing, and research. And so then I just went into this huge brainstorm of questions. That's just, research is all about being rapidly curious. Okay? And you gotta be curious. That's why I got so particular about the whole fire in the belly thing. And then I just started doing tons of research and writing things down and thinking about, okay, so we know that Oxford University started in some form in 1096. So that's the end of the Anglo-Saxon period and well before medieval, right? And we know that in there somewhere, specifically 1439, so 400 years later, Gutenberg finished the Bible, or finished his printing press, and then another 16 years later, he finished his first Bible. And then, it was after that that England really took over and dominated the world. So it's like, okay, so I've got these universities, they're an island nation, maybe there's a correlation. So I'm doing this on my computer and I have no access to a library and so on and so forth. Chances are there's some sort of correlation there. I haven't been able to find it necessarily, but I've found some proof. But the important thing for you guys is not that I write the paper, it's that I show you how I would bring proof in were I to find it. Okay? So I'm going to hit pause right now, and then I'm going to fill out. Okay, so I'm like right on this thing, this question, find background information. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Whoa! Find background information. I'm like right there. And I need to get more materials. I need to do more reading and evaluating. Okay, let's pretend that I've skipped ahead to 5. Organize. Whoa, that's really jammy. It says organize, write, and cite. Okay. This, by the way, I have this linked on my research essay page. I'll link it down below in a second. See you in a sec. I'm so bad at this. make funny faces. Okay, so it's critical that you realize that there's this whole like working thesis thing. This is really driving me crazy, this whole like lighting situation. Sorry. Anyway, so, there, that's a little better. So there's this whole idea of the working thesis where you're heading towards this idea and supporting this idea. But then as you go through and you actually make your paragraphs more substantive, and you know for sure what you're going to say, and you have your topic sentence, and then you go in and you introduce the evidence to back up what you have to say in your topic sentences, you might realize you have to tweak your thesis statement. It's totally fine. But you should have a ballpark idea of where you're heading to begin with. That's why I call it a working thesis. Not a thesis, a working thesis. Knowing you're going to come back to it. Sorry, my phone just went off. Anyway, so let's pretend that this is my working thesis. I don't know if you can read this. I'll read it out loud. And I'll screenshot it later. And yeah, whatever. Okay. England's rapid growth in technological and militaristic might was bolstered by the introduction of Gutenberg's printing press. So in other words, I'm saying that from the Anglo-Saxon period to the medieval period, which I didn't specify, but I could go back and do that. I'm saying that England's ability in technology, and then as a result, military, were not only supported but really kind of raised quite significantly by the introduction of Gutenberg's printing press. And you might be like, oh, what's English class have anything to do with like technology? Well, dude, if you write the instructions down and you write down the math formulas, you're gonna do better. Anyway, so that's the thesis, right? So then, you come over here and you've got this thing, which helps you with your body paragraph. And of course, your topic sentence has to be a sub-thesis. So let's say I was going to do something about, wow, my phone just won't shut up. Say we're going to do something about the technology part, okay? And so I already have in this point part, so in other words, sub-thesis, I say, though Oxford had already been in existence, the introduction of the printing press helped its mission immeasurably. What's the mission of the university? Educate people. Hard to educate people when all your books are handwritten, or you're just lecturing, right? You get a printing press and you can get the same notes out to everybody. Intellectual capability goes up significantly. So then this says, how will you explain your supporting evidence? So actually it's over to evidence. So then I go and I get the notes where it says, okay, so Gutenberg finished his Bible in 1455. And then it said within 25 years, printing shops had spread all over Europe, including London. So 25, math. Oxford University Press was set up 1478. So I'm kind of bad at math, but that to me definitely looks like they beat the printing press being all over Europe. So in other words, it's pretty easy to guess that they probably sent someone and said, go get trained. This thing's going to be huge, okay? So bringing in the evidence, and this is not quoted, so this would be paraphrased because I don't have the precise quote. I could get it, but I'm just not going to do that right now. So paraphrase, I'm putting it in my own words. I still didn't learn it in my head. I learned it somewhere else, so I got to give credit for it. I would say, okay, so my topic sentence. Though Oxford had already been in existence, the introduction of the printing press helped its mission immeasurably. One can only imagine that scores more students were able to learn critically important technical information more efficiently. Okay, I just made that up. Okay, because it's kind of like a bridge to the next thing. On blah, 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 it states, and I forget what the name of the website is. That's what the blah, 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 blah. It states that, quote, within 25 years, printing shops had spread all over Europe. And I'd do a better job of saying Gutenberg finished the Bible, da 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 da, blank, blank, blank. Within 25 years, printing shops had spread all over Europe. Going back to the quote, and then I'd like cite that, right? Because I got that from one website. And then I'd go to the place where I learned about the Oxford University press date, which preceded all the presses being across Europe. And that was 1478. Interestingly, on the History of Oxford website, it states that the Oxford University Press apparently had printed its first manuscript in 1478. One could imagine that. Okay, and that's the explanation part. So then this thing is saying explanation. It's like, okay, you get your topic sentence, you get your evidence, connect them. So that's what you got to do. Okay, you've got your topic sentence, which is a subset of the thesis. You got to be like, okay, why am I talking about this? And am I the only person who thinks this? Oh no, look, here are my notes. Right there. I got to bring that over in here. Okay, and you bring it over. And if you don't know how to do it smoothly, that's what I'm for. Try it on your own. Look at the research essay page I put together. Look on the OWL. Ask your buddies. And then if you're having a hard time, email me. So you bring your evidence in. Make sure that it's brought in appropriately according to the signal phrase. Okay. And that's all on the APA style guide thing on the OWL. And then the critical part is the explanation. And the only person who knows that is you. That's where the thinking comes in. So just like when we were icing things last year in junior English, you introduce, you cite, you explain, and I always said the hardest part's the explain. The hardest part's the explain. You said your subthesis, your topic sentence. You brought your evidence in to prove it. So what? It says, how will you explain your supporting evidence? What do the facts mean? How do they support and make your point? You know that, not me. Okay, and then link, what does it say? How does this point link to your next point? Oh, that's just your transition. And of course, with the transition, your job as a thoughtful and considerate writer is to move the reader from one idea to the next. So theoretically for this, I could say, I could go look for, I don't know, any proof that mathematical formulas or engineering theorems had been written down, and then that led to better boats. That kind of thing. Okay? I hope this helps. Email me if you have questions. I think I may actually show you like what that looks like. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Bye! So this is the perfect time to look at the Peels graphic organizer as well as the color-coded document I put on the classroom. Good luck! Hasta!